Hello and welcome back to day 2, well, of this paper. So this is episode 22. If you missed yesterday's episode, just go ahead and look at the link in the description below. Welcome to our 3-a-day multiple choice marathon. So if you are new to this, you would have missed, well, you can check out episodes 1 to 20, which was past paper May 2019, I believe. And we are going to be looking at questions 4 to 6 today of the May 2011 multiple choice paper. Yesterday we did questions 1 to 3, so you can go ahead and check that out. Let's hit the road. Just a reminder, it's every weekday that we will be doing 3 questions. All right, so our first question says 11.1 divided by 0.01 is equal to, and of course I have rewritten that without that division sign, but with the fraction bar. All right, and in dividing decimals, the first thing you want to ensure is that your denominator is not a decimal number. All right, so you want to make this a whole number, which means in this case you want to make this 1. You want that decimal point to be behind the 1 to make it a whole number. All right, and how exactly do we do that? I think we would have mentioned this yesterday as well. All right, there's a little strategy. So we're going to be multiplying this denominator by 100. And of course, anything you do to your denominator, you must do to your numerator so as to not change the value of the fraction. So we're going to multiply by 100. All right. So we did mention that our decimal point is now going to be 2 more places to the right because we're multiplying by 100. And that would make my denominator become 1. And that's a whole number. Now, if my numerator, if the point in my numerator is going to end up 2 places to my right, then it means I'm going to need a 0 there. All right. If you're not used to dividing or multiplying decimals, please go and practice. All right, so this number will now become 1,110. And if I divide that by 1, clearly our answer is D. All right, so let's take it to our next question. It says if 60% of a number is 90, what is the number? And yesterday we looked at the fact that when we get questions like this, just repeat it in your head and then write it down mathematically. So if 60% of a number is 90, what is the number? 60% of a number is 90. Golden, right? So that's it. 60%, 60 over 100 of multiplying a number, X, because we don't know it, and you can use any letter, that is an equal sign, 90. And then from there we work until we find the value of X. All right, let me just change my ink a little bit. All right, so we can divide, I guess we can divide both of these by 10. That's 60 and 100, or we can divide it by 20. Whatever you choose, just simplify both numbers. All right, 20 into 60 goes 3 times, and 20 into 10 goes 5 times. So if we should simplify this left-hand side of the equation, we have 3x over 5. And if it makes you feel better, some people do put that over 1. All right, 3x over 5, and that gives us, all right, that should be equal to 90. And then we are going to take our time and find the value of X. So we can get rid of this 5 by multiplying both sides by 5. And now we have 3x equals 450. All right, still we're trying to find X, so we're dividing by 3. Do that to both sides. X is equal to 150. Clearly our answer is C. All right. And then we are looking at our final question. Feel free to pause the video at any time to whether write off the question or just recap the working, whatever works for you. All right. Number 6 says the exact value of 37.26 divided by 18, divided by 1.8, and then all of that is divided by 1,000. We're supposed to find the exact value of that. All right. So again, if your decimal division game ain't strong, go ahead and work on that. All right. So you got 2 practice questions today. Just go ahead and look up more on the internet anywhere. All right. So here we go. We need to work out our numerator first. So 37.26 divided by 1.8, and I'll just pause so you can remember what rule we said earlier about when dividing, what do you not want your denominator to be, all right? And that is going to be a decimal number. So 1.8, we don't want to be using that to try to divide 1.8 into 3, or, you know, that's just going to stress you out. So ensure that that 1.8 becomes a whole number. So 18. What can we do to 1.8 to turn it into 18? Clearly, we can multiply by 10. All right. We know that automatically our decimal point will now be one place to the right. All right. So our denominator will now be 18. Now, if I multiply the denominator by 10, I must do the same thing to the numerator, so as to not change the value of the fraction. If I multiply 37.26 by 10, we're going to have 372.6 over 18. All right, so let me just. And this now is where your general division skills need to be proper. All right, so here we go. Some persons will use long division. I'll just go with the short one. So if long division is comfortable for you, do that. All right, so let's go. I hope we know how to divide a number into decimals. All right, here we go. 18 into 3, we definitely can't. So we can go 18 into 37. Let me use a different ink. All right, 18 into 37, that's definitely going to be 2 times, because 18 times 2 will give us 36. Remainder, just 1. 18 into 12 will give us 0, of course, but please do not just not put anything. Ensure you put that 0 there. All right. And of course, there's 12 remaining. 18 into 12, 0, remaining 12. So, of course, I need to note my decimal point right here after the 372. All right. And now behind the decimal point, if we are to call the number together, that's 126. 18 into 126 is going to be 7. So when we worked out this part here, the top part, we got 20.7. And we also know we should be dividing that by 1,000. Now, just as we explored earlier, that when you multiply by a certain multiple of 10, the decimal point ends up 3, depending, some additional places to your right? So for example, here we multiplied by 10, and we noticed that the difference in where the decimal point was 1 place, right? So here we're dividing by 1,000, and dividing by 1,000, oh, it hurts me to say this, right? To speak about decimal points moving. But since this is not the lesson for it, anyway. All right, so here we go. It's going to be dividing by 1,000. So we can tell that in our final answer, our decimal point is going to be 1, 2, 3 extra places to the left. That's where it's going to end up. All right, so our decimal point is not going to end up here, not here, but here, which means we need a 0 as a placeholder there. So my new answer is going to be point 0.0207. And of course, we put that 0 out front. So our final answer is 0.0207, which is going to be B. All right. So I will do a video soon on what really happens when you divide by 1,000, when you divide by 10, if you divide by 10,000. So when you divide and multiply by powers of 10, but we will see. Yeah, so join me tomorrow. This is our final question. Join me tomorrow for episode 23 of our 3-a-day multiple choice questions. We'll be working questions 7 to 9. And if you can get a hold of the May 2011 paper, go ahead and do that. You can practice the questions ahead of time and come back tomorrow to see if you are correct. All right, it's goodbye from DG Makes Math Easy. We're intentional about making math dimensional.